Passport brothers, you might want to look at my other videos. I do not attempt to make it sound better than what it is. I try to show what it might be like to live in these places daily, so that you will know what to expect if you want to live in these countries. Plus, I share the mistakes I made so you can avoid them. Do not believe everything you hear in other people's videos. They leave out a lot of important information. They make it all look and sound good, but they leave out a lot of information, such as the cost of food, transportation, accommodations and total costs. I made a few videos about Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, Nha Trang, and Hanoi. I was in Vietnam for almost 2 months. From here, I went to Phuket, Thailand, then to Hua Hin, Thailand. From Hua Hin, I go to the Philippines. This is just me walking through a mall in Phuket, Thailand. I went to this mall almost every day because other than going to the beach, there is not much else to do. Later in this video, I will use footage of me driving around Phuket as filler. After being at this mall for about 10 days, the women became friendlier. They want a long-term committed relationship. They want to be married with children. At the end of the video, I will explain what financial benefit your foreign wife and children can receive from the American government or Social Security. She can receive these benefits even if she is living in another country. If you are receiving Social Security disability and maybe Social Security retirement, your biological or adopted children can get some financial benefits. I am receiving Social Security disability, and this is why I am not sure about Social Security retirement. After you die, if you do it right, your family will not experience any loss of income. Your wife should be able to receive your full Social Security. For the people who do not know, Social Security is a government pension that everyone receives if they work. Medicare and Medicaid is an American government healthcare program. Medicaid is for the poor, and Medicare is for people who have worked 20 years or more. If you are a citizen of another country and work legally in America, you will get these benefits. Everyone who works legally in America gets Social Security and Medicare. If you work in America for less than 20 years, then you get Social Security and Medicaid. This is for everyone, even if you are a foreign worker. This is the law, and this part of the law cannot be changed. This is Lena, who I met at a McDonald's in Phuket, Thailand. These women want husbands. These women want to be a wife. Meeting respectable quality women in Thailand is easy. You do not need a dating app, a marriage service, or to go to the bars. I will explain later in the video. Plus, I will explain how to do it. Most of the time, you do not have to do anything. And this also goes for Vietnam and the Philippines. Remember, I said respectable quality women. I thought I understood the phrase being raised to be wives and mothers, but I realize I did not completely understand what this all implies until now. Kevin Samuels said that women are wives before they get married. He added that these women get picked quickly and get married within 4 to 6 months. He is right. I did not realize what he truly meant until I met 2 of them. One who worked at Highland Coffee in Hanoi, Vietnam, and the other who worked at Prime Burger in Phuket, Thailand. These women are wives. These women want to be a wife. There is a big difference between wanting to be married and wanting to be a wife. They are not the same. These women want to be a wife. This is a level beyond wanting to be married with a family and children. This is probably why a lot of Chinese and Korean men go to Vietnam for wives. I know that if I asked either one of these women to marry me within the first few dates, they both would have said yes. Now, all the other respectable Asian women of high quality I talked to had the following in common. All would make wonderful wives and amazing mothers. This is because most of the women in Vietnam, Thailand and the Philippines are raised to be wives and mothers. Not just wanting to be married. Plus, they all have respectful jobs, so they are not looking for a man to take care of them. We Western men are not used to these types of women, and this makes them very dangerous to single men from America. If you are not careful, you will be married within 6 months. You might say no. This cannot happen to you. You have self-control. I am 60 years old, and if I can easily make these girls smile, just think about what will happen to you. If you do want to get married, then the best thing you can do is go to the mall, Starbucks, Highland Coffee, or another respectful establishment. Not the bars, and not the billiard halls. Do it on a regular basis so the women will start noticing you. So they will know you are there for the long term. Another thing you can do is try to meet women before they get to work. This is around 9 to 10 in the morning. Go to McDonald's or another establishment, like a 7-Eleven every other morning. Let women know that every Monday or Wednesday in the morning, this is where you will be. Another trick is to go to the grocery store about 1 to 2 hours before they close. You have to let women know where you are and at what times you will be there. The ones who are interested will start to show up. Respectable quality women do not want any type of short-term relationship. They want to know that you are here for the long term. Having a schedule or a routine implies this. You need to advertise yourself. You need to let women know there is fresh meat in town, fresh off the boat, come and get it. Remember, this is not America. All you have to do is glance or look her way every now and then. If she is interested, she will let you know. It is the same as when women in the past would drop a handkerchief, and the man would pick it up. We all know the meaning of that courtship ritual. Then all you have to do is walk up to her and say, "Hi, I am Todd. You are very pretty. Can I call you sometime and buy you a cup of coffee, lunch or dinner?" This is all you have to do. Do not make it complicated. Many of the videos I am creating are about my experiences in Asia, which I think will help current and future passport brothers. I have been to Vietnam and now I am in Thailand. I made several videos about Vietnam, and now I am starting on my time in Thailand. I plan to go to the Philippines next. I translate my videos into other languages. Because of this, I had women from Vietnam who has commented on some of my videos. Many of these women never heard of a passport brother. So, I think I should explain what a passport brother is, so we all know what I am talking about and why. A passport brother is part of a movement called the Passport Brothers Movement. Yes. I know men are not very creative when it comes to naming things. The Passport Brothers movement started with black American men moving overseas, finding a place to live, not coming back to America, then finding a woman, getting married and having a family. Most do not understand that black American men are different from African men. It does not mean that one is better than the other. It is like the differences between Chinese and Korean. The people might look similar, but they are different in many ways. Since I am not African, I cannot speak about African men. But as a black American man, I will say the following will be true most of the time. It takes 24 to 30 hours by plane to reach Asia. So it is not an easy trip for people coming from America. This is why you do not see a lot of black Americans in Asia. However, when you do see a black American man, it means that he is probably highly educated. It does not mean he has a lot of money, but he is not a poor backpacker. All American men in general do not care about a woman's education, her job, her skin color or her family background. This goes for white, Latino, Asian and black American men. For all American men in general, a dark-skinned woman is just as beautiful as a light-skinned woman. Why place limitations on our happiness? And what Asian men might find unattractive, men from America might find very attractive. There are many cultural differences regarding dating in America compared to dating in Asia. I found out this the hard way with so many missed opportunities. So you ladies might think the American man likes you, but does not make a move or approach, and you cannot understand why. This video might help to explain why, and explain to American men that Asia is different than America when it comes to dating. In America, no woman drops the handkerchief anymore, but it is very common here in Asia. But the way women do it here is different than in America. However, it still implies the same. Marriage, family, kids and all that stuff. In other words, loss of freedom for the man. I know that one of the things that held me back regarding asking a girl in Asia for a date was my American mindset. Looking back, this resulted in many missed opportunities when it came to dating in Asia. Most passport brothers go to South America, Central America, the Dominican Republic, Africa, Eastern Europe, Thailand, and the Philippines. But you will find passport brothers in many other countries worldwide. Now men worldwide are claiming this title. Men from India, men from Pakistan and men from many other countries. Yes, I said Pakistan. Passport brothers have complained that the women in their country are too difficult to deal with, so they are moving to another country to find better women to marry. I got subscribers from South America and the Dominican Republic telling me how bad the women there are. I watched YouTube videos where men from Pakistan and Muslim countries describe how materialistic the women there have become. In my opinion, men worldwide are basically all screwed. I want to say to all my brothers from Pakistan and Muslim countries, if all you have to deal with is how materialistic the women there have become, then consider yourself lucky. Basically, no man from another country wants an American or Western European woman. I will not explain why because there are way too many reasons. However, the places where I have not heard any complaints from men regarding women are Asia, Eastern Europe, Russia, and Africa. Back in the 1980s, some of my black American male friends went into the army instead of going to college. The ones who were stationed in Germany all married German women. So, since the 1980s, Germany has always been good for black American men. Maybe next summer I will try Germany, or maybe this winter. Or maybe Sweden. I want to tell all the single men or passport brothers that if you want to get married, Vietnam is the place. I was in Vietnam for almost 2 months. Vietnam is a place where many men from Korea and China go for wives. So these women will move to another country or travel with you. So many Korean men have married Vietnamese women that the Korean government created a department to help Vietnamese wives adjust to Korea. This is because many Vietnamese women will marry a Korean man and move to Korea, but do not know the language. I think this is why when I talk to some Vietnamese women, they gave me the impression that if you do not know Vietnamese, they will work with you until you do. Luckily for me that I could not handle the pollution, or I might have never made it out of Vietnam. So, if you want to get married, you can get married to a very beautiful Vietnamese woman in a few months. I think this is also true for the women in Thailand. Thailand was probably once the same way as Vietnam, but Thailand receives a lot of foreign visitors. So, the women in Thailand are used to the bad stuff foreigners do. Like making promises but then leaving, never keeping the promise. Since Asia is difficult to reach for Americans, most black American men you will meet will not do this. They will keep their promises. Why spend all that money and time on an airplane if you are not serious about what you seek? Some parts of Europe is only an 8-hour plane ride to Asia, and it does not cost anywhere as much as a plane ticket from America. This is why you see a lot of Russians in Vietnam and Thailand. In other words, if an American passport brother gets into a long-term relationship, then he is committed to you. This is Sean, who I met in Phuket, and he is from Connecticut. He said that you can get married to a beautiful Philippines woman in a few weeks. Plus, I met another American man while in Phuket named Mark. This is Mark. Mark is from New York but currently lives in North Carolina. He has been to Thailand 10 times. I cannot say if Mark is a passport brother, but I think Sean is. I know that when it comes to African, Philippine, Korean, Japanese, and Vietnamese women, passport brothers married these women kind of quick. And some of these women have kids from another relationship. For countries such as Thailand, Colombia, Brazil and the Dominican Republic, I do not know if passport brothers marry these women quickly or not. I have no information. So, men, if you have any information on these countries, please put it in the comment section. I think many women would like to know. When it comes to marriage and family, Asia, in general, is very traditional. Women here date for marriage. This includes Vietnam, Thailand, the Philippines, Japan, and Korea. So when you date one of these women, always have in your brain if this is a woman you can marry. I met 5 foreign men from different parts of the world who are married to beautiful Vietnamese women. They all said they met their very beautiful Vietnamese wife when she was working. Not through dating apps, marriage services, bars or billiard halls. As I said earlier about the women in Thailand, this seems like the best approach. Meet her while she is working a respectable job. But many men go on dating apps, bars or billiard halls because it is easier. Some of the men I met in Thailand who use these dating apps told me they encounter mostly women who want someone to take care of them. They want to be women of leisure. And many passport brothers cannot afford this. We cannot afford to take care of her, her parents and her family. We are looking for a wife, not another financial burden. Many YouTube channels that interviewed Western men in Asia said that many Asian women prefer older men because they are more settled and less likely to cheat. I am finding this to be true. I am 60, but many of the women I seem to attract are very young. One YouTube creator, who is in his early 50s, said his Vietnamese girlfriend is in her 20s. I saw a video from another YouTube creator who is in his mid-50s and has gray hair. Where a very attractive, but very young, Vietnamese girl made it very clear she was interested in him. This is Calvin and his YouTube channel is called Sunshine Shoulders. If I remember correctly, I think he said that when he got to the Philippines, he later discovered that the girl he was dating was 18, or in her early 20s. Calvin was in his 50s at the time. When he found out, he ended the relationship, but still paid for her college. The girl did not ask him for any money, or to pay for her college. Calvin is just a nice guy. I watched many videos where the man is in his late 50s to early 60s and married a Filipina who is in her mid-20s. One man said that he was not sure what to do when he met her father and realized that he is probably older than her father. So, very young girls being interested in older gentlemen might be the norm, which explains why I seem to get so much interest from very young girls. When I was in Bangkok, some of these little high school girls were checking me out. Now that was strange. Like I said earlier, I am 60, so think of how you younger men might be received, or all the men who still have all of their hair. I made a reaction video to a man who is in his 80s, moved to the Philippines, and his girlfriend is in her 40s. However, I did not put this video into different languages. There are many videos where much older men are dating and are married to very young Asian women. This is in Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Korea, China and the Philippines. One Vietnamese man who is in his 20s thought I was in my mid to late 40s. However, the girls that seem interested in me are in their early to mid 20s, which is still a 20-year age gap. Because of my Western mindset, which says you should not date a girl that young, I left them alone. Plus, I do not think I'm all that attractive. I am 60 years old and lost most of my hair. But I am not stupid. So, just like Calvin, if I get a beautiful woman, I am going to marry her and get out of the game. The older ladies, or women in their late 20s to 40, do not seem to be interested in me. This is what I thought, but I later realized that this is not correct. I will explain later in the video. One thing I learned about very young Asian women is if she likes you, she might approach. However, she will just stand there, not knowing what to do or say. Plus, these girls work at respectable retail establishments, so they have to be careful not to lose their job. Plus, it took me a while to understand that some of the young girls might not have the confidence of Western women. However, Western women know that whatever happens, they will not lose their job. You, the man, will probably be banned from the establishment. Here is how it all works in Asia. Asian women are raised to be wives and mothers. Kevin Samuels told many women, "It is best to get married and have children when you are young." There are many reasons why this is true, but I am not going to talk about the reasons. Many Asian women know and understand this. So, unlike many Western women who do not look for a husband until she reaches 27 to 30, many Asian women look for a husband early. They also know that life is better when you are traveling it with someone, and not alone. When you have someone to rely on, and take care of, and they have someone they can rely on and take care of. If the Asian girl is not going to go to college, she starts looking for a husband before she graduates from high school. One YouTube video I watched interviewed women in the Philippines. The women said that finding a good man is the prize. So, what Asian women look for in a husband differs from Western women. A good man is the prize, not what he has or can potentially provide. I think this is true. When I am at a place like a coffee shop, I allow people to cut in front of me. I always held the door open for women. If the employees were busy, I told them I can wait. Plus, I did other considerate things. So, I showed I am a considered person. I think this is one of the reasons why I get so much interest from very young Asian girls. Plus, these women might also think that older men are more stable financially, less likely to cheat, and thus are ready for a family and children. For financial reasons, I know it can be scary to marry a girl that young. However, at the end of this video, I talk about the financial benefits the American government provides. This is called Social Security. So, it might not be as scary as you think. Vietnamese women let you know they are interested. They show it in their face and body language. Older Thai women are quick and subtle about dropping the handkerchief. The older they get, the more subtle it becomes. I think they want to avoid any embarrassment. You know, keeping face and all of that stuff. So you might miss it when they do it. Plus, because of keeping face and all of that stuff, you must act on it as soon as you see it. When it comes to Asian women in general, the taller she is, the better the chance you have with her. You have to understand that in Asia, there are a lot of beautiful women looking for husbands. Plus, Asian women put on very little to no makeup. So all or most are natural beauties. Because of all of this, in Asia, the competition can be fierce for a husband. This is Tina, and she is beautiful. She has the most kissable lips. I think she would have been a pleasure to marry. She worked at Starbucks, so I was unsure if she liked me or was just being nice. One day, she told me what time she got off work, and I think she thought this was all she had to do. But in America, just because a girl says this does not mean she is interested in you. I did not want to make her feel uncomfortable by some man sitting there waiting for her, so I left before she got off work. In America, if the girl feels uncomfortable after she tells you this, she might call the police if you are still there when she is getting ready to go home. Yes. This does happen in America. The woman could have you banned from Starbucks and the whole mall. So, one has to be careful in situations like this. I worked a job where I was one of the cameramen. The woman the host was interviewing said I made her feel uncomfortable. She would not say why, but I think it was because a black man was staring at her. Yes, I was. I am the cameraman. Some people are crazy. Just crazy. She was Asian and was raised in a conservative white city. Frankfort, Illinois. When she grows up and starts working a professional job, then she is going to realize that she is not white. Anyway, like I said, there are cultural differences when it comes to dating in America compared to Asia. What needed to happen was Tina needed to stick around after she said this, and let me respond. Then I would be able to see if she was being nice or is interested in me. Plus, I might have things I have to do at that time. Remember, I am 60 years old, so it is hard to believe a girl this young is interested in me. But stuff like this happened to me in Vietnam a lot, and more than a few times in Thailand. But the older women do not seem to be interested in me. Only the younger ones. I realize later that this is not true. Thai women can be subtle about dropping the handkerchief. I discovered that the older a Thai woman gets, the more subtle her technique about dropping the handkerchief becomes. This makes it hard to notice, so you might miss it. Plus, I have not found a place to settle, my place in the sun, and I do not want to get into a long-distance relationship. So it all worked out for the best. Men, look at the women I did talk to. If I can make young girls like these smile, just think what younger men can do. Especially if you still have all your hair. If you are a decent-looking man in reasonable shape, then the age gap might not be a problem. This can go for girls as young as 18. Plus, many of these women do not care about race. I had a long conversation with a young Vietnamese man who is in college. He told me that how much a man earns is not a barrier to marriage. I wish I could have asked him more about this, but at the time, I was trying to understand what he was telling me. My Western mindset could not understand what he was telling me. This will be one of the biggest problems we Western men will have. Getting out of our Western mindset. Asia is different when it comes to marriage and family. Women in Vietnam, the Philippines and Thailand care more about the quality of the man than his income. So, as long as you can support yourself, then you probably meet most Asian women's requirements regarding income. I stayed in a few local neighborhoods in Vietnam and Thailand. I tried to get out of the tourist areas. The women outside the tourist areas are much more receptive. The women outside of the tourist areas in Vietnam are a lot more receptive. Social Security. Now let's talk about the American government's financial benefits called Social Security. I understand that marrying a girl who is 20 to 30 years younger can be scary. How will she be able to financially take care of herself and the children after you die? If you are receiving any type of Social Security retirement or disability, then after you die, she will get about $100 to $200 a month for each child. If you are currently receiving Social Security disability, then they give you additional money for each child. I think it is about $100 to $200 a month for each child. This might not be a lot in America, but in Vietnam, Thailand and the Philippines, most people only earn about $300 a month. Now, after you die, your wife can apply for Social Security spousal death benefits. This means that she will still get your Social Security. Thus, no loss of income. If your wife earns her own Social Security benefits, and it is less than yours, spousal death benefits will raise what she gets to the same level as what you were getting. So, if she is getting $1,000 a month and you are getting $2,000, then she will now get the $2,000 after you die. It is not as easy as it sounds. There are a few tricks you need to know. If you are living overseas, then every year, you need to tell Social Security you are still alive, or they will assume you are dead and stop all the money. Your marriage must be registered and recognized by Social Security. All your children must be United States citizens with Social Security numbers. If you are living overseas, they say this process is not that difficult, but it can take 3 to 9 months. You have to go to the United States Embassy and do all the paperwork there. Once your children are United States citizens with Social Security numbers, then you must go back to the embassy and get their United States passports. Your wife will still not be a United States citizen, only the children. Now after you die, your wife can get death spousal benefits from Social Security. However, she might not be able to receive the money easily while she is living in another country. If there is any way you can get your wife to America while you are still alive is the best solution. Then you can put her on your bank account that is receiving the Social Security money. This way, after you die, all the Social Security benefits or federal government money will continue to go into that bank account. Back in the 70s, when I was in high school, I had a friend whose mother died, and the father was receiving death spousal benefits from Social Security. It was enough money to where he did not have to work. It paid for rent, food, all of it. The government did not change the amount of money a person receives from Social Security. The government did not reduce the amount of money a person receives from Social Security. What they did was change how it keeps up with inflation. If they did not change how Social Security keeps up with inflation, then your wife would be able to live in the United States using only the money she receives from Social Security. The liberals have been trying to change it back. The new law would be called Retiring in Dignity. Basically, the new law will put back everything they took out in the 1980s. In the 1980s, Social Security had an 8-year surplus, and the money could not be touched to pay for anything else. Since then, all the United States presidents have taken money from Social Security to pay for all wars and the military. This is why the United States has the biggest military in the world. If you combine the next top 16 militaries, and this includes Russia and China, the United States military would still be bigger. The only president who followed the law and put the money back was Clinton. If the government put all the money it took from Social Security back, then Social Security would have another surplus. The point is that no matter how much shit the politicians talk about eliminating Social Security, they will never do it because it brings in way too much money. Money that they cannot get from any place else. No. A federal sales tax law is not enough to replace the amount of money they receive from Social Security. Without the money from Social Security, the United States federal government will not be able to pay for a lot of stuff. This includes the military, education, roads and bridges, and much, much more. However, you do have a lot of dumbass politicians. Remember, as quickly as you can, get your marriage and children registered with Social Security. If your wife stays in the United States, she has to work for 20 years to qualify for Medicare. I think Medicaid is a better program than Medicare. However, many doctors do not take Medicaid. I hope this video helped.